Hey there.
Hey, Glenn.
How's it going?
So, where you're at, because I've seen other interviews with you and you're always in this room. So, is this like your music office space?
Yeah, this is the place.
Okay.
So,
And these guitarists come and tour with you?
yeah, I'm bringing that one out. So, yes, not bringing those out. They're hanging.
I actually spoke to EMF guitarist Ian Dench, and he has a guitar signed by the Doors guitarist Robbie Krieger, and he has it like
Mhm.
mounted on the wall.
I have nothing that precious. My guitars are, yeah, not many collectibles.
Maybe they're just as old as like the albums that came earlier in the 90s.
Yeah, no, I mean, this one I got in like 92, 91. I think 92.
Okay, so
So
it's older
I've
than
had
me.
it forever.
Then
Only vintage because I got it way back when.
I'm as old as your album, Destiny.
Nice.
So I usually start off asking what are you listening, jamming to, because this is the Mod Rock Jam podcast. But instead, I'm going to ask if you could create a playlist of your life, like a soundtrack to your life from your childhood, teens, young adult to now. Like what music is going to be on that list?
Well, I mean, the early stuff would be mostly show tunes, like I grew up with a lot of Rodgers and Hammerstein, a little bit of Simon and Garfunkel, but mostly show tunes and like Benny Goodman. My dad was really into like clarinet swing jazz. He hated rock and roll.
Except for
Uh,
Dire Straits.
except for Dire Straits. You've heard that before. Then it would move into like Doobie Brothers, tons of the Beatles. My brother got me really into the Beatles, Pink Floyd. I had Styx, but only because it was like the holographic LP. It was the coolest looking record there was. And lots of Rush. Then from there was a little crossover between Rush and disco. Maybe not so much. I was really into disco for a long while. And then I had a metal phase. So it was like Ozzy Osbourne, Iron Maiden,
Brat.
Brat. You've read this all before.
Yeah.
And then I met Todd, and it was, Husker Du and the Replacements, same time, like it was Water Boys. And I remember the first Jane's Addiction and the first Indigo Girls came out the same year. That was kind of a pivotal point. And then from there, got really into Bjork,
Mhm.
Sugar Cubes, like Cocteau Twins, and then Peter Gabriel, Tears for Fears, Talk Talk, Radiohead, and now it's a bit of everything. I mean, then it was going back to like Emmylou Harris and Graham Parsons, Bonnie Raitt, and then recently it's been a lot of McGee, Dijon. Been obsessing over a Snow Patrol song called "What If This Is All the Love You'll Ever Get," but that's a few years old.
I'm gonna
So
listen to that because I do like Snow Patrol. I can imagine if, we still had iPods, I could just be scrolling on your iPod. I'm
yeah.
still in the A section.
But that's gotten a lot of play recently. Madison Cunningham too, I think, is just brilliant. She's a really great artist.
Well, that makes
So
sense with the Doobie Brothers because I believe, didn't you have Michael McDonald on one of your tracks?
yeah, he sang on the single version of, wait, what's it called? I'm having trouble remembering names today. This
It's
is what
okay.
happens
It's early still.
with no, it's I wake up at 5. This is just
Oh.
lack of sleep. But yes, why can't I remember the name of the song? I wrote it. Anyway, it was off the last record. It was really good.
So she shared in an interview that the man she wished she dated, and it was a missed opportunity, was Michael McDonald because of his voice.
It is the best voice.
So
Yeah.
is your voice. I do remember hearing you were in the musical play Oklahoma as well as Our Town, took choir. I was wondering because I also took choir in my high school, mostly just as an elective, like an easy A. But we did all these vocal exercises to warm up our voices. Do you still practice that before you go on stage?
I didn't. I started in the last like 5 years because my voice, like happens, my range has gone down a little. We've moved a few of the songs down a step or two. I started warming up and taking better care of my voice because it doesn't last like it used to. So I have to be really vigilant on tour to hydrate and get adequate rest and, stay away from alcohol. I still do coffee, but, I really have to take better care of it now, especially with these two. This Toad tour is going to be 7 weeks, so I can't afford to not sing.
Yeah.
So, and I
Hmm.
don't want to sing badly. So,
Yeah, because you'll get a review.
or that's the one that will go viral.
Yeah, yeah. Um,
Old dudes can't sing. Like they choose the worst night when you're fighting a cold and
aw.
think that's how you sing. So
You're like, "My immune system isn't as good when I was, like, in my teen years and 20s."
it happens when you're
Well,
around people
I've
all day, every
noticed
day.
because I exercise every day. I know they say, like, "You should, rest." I don't, but I've noticed because I rigorously exercise, I don't get sick, maybe once a year. So and I
Mhm.
think you say you like running.
Yeah, I run a lot on tour, especially the summer tours. That's I wake up before everybody else, so I get out and go for a run and come back and everyone's still asleep. So, and I try to do it before it gets too hot.
Mm,
So, do that, do yoga, and yeah,
there you
I
go.
like it.
Did you live in Nashville for some time?
Just about 6 months. It was a short stint. I came
Oh,
back home.
while shortly living there, I'm planning to go to Nashville next year. What are some good spots to visit?
There's a ton of venues. I'd say just look in the paper and see what music you want to see. But if you like country swing, the Time Jumpers are amazing. And I'm forgetting if they're what their regular gig is there. Try to see the Time Jumpers because that, as far as something that really you can almost only see in Nashville, that's pretty amazing. And the food's really great. It's a great food town. You kind of can't go wrong. I mean, if you're going to try the hot chicken, go for it. Just be prepared to have gastrointestinal distress.
Oh, no.
The thing about like hot chicken that I love is that it was invented as revenge.
Oh.
Apparently, the Prince brothers, one of the Prince brothers, was like messing around on his wife, and she, in order to punish him, like poured all their chili into the chicken batter, like all of the peppers she had into the chicken batter, and served it to him, and he was like, "This is great." And they ended up starting Prince's Chicken, but it was supposed to hurt him, but instead they ended up starting an Asheville hot chicken. So it was invented as a weapon, which is good to remember when eating it.
I love that. It's like, I'm put some ghost pepper.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that is so awesome. Now I'm gonna share that story.
The other thing I will say is have brunch at Monell's.
Okay.
Family style. So you're just sitting with a bunch of people at a long table and they just bring everything out in bowls and stuff you till you're dead. And you can't really plan anything else that day. And you got to see a show at the Ryman if there's always a good show at the Ryman.
I
So
wanna go to the Bluebird Cafe
mhm.
because my favorite actor, rest in peace, River Phoenix, he actually did a movie at the Bluebird Cafe. I had no idea
Mm.
it was a real place. I thought it was just part
Oh
of the
yeah.
movie.
It's different than it used to be, kind of post the series. I think it's may have calmed down a little again, but it became much more of a different, like a tourist scene after that. It was traditionally a really awesome local scene, and you just go there, and every night you see amazing singer-songwriters you've never heard of. I mean, that's the thing, the local scene there and the general bar of creativity and capability is just insanely high.
Right, well, I'm definitely gonna check out those places. But going back to your musical background, Green Day, Neil Diamond, Cher, Michael Jackson, they all have done Broadway musicals of their lives. I was wondering if you would ever wanna see, like, a Toll the What Sprocket Broadway production?
Not in the slightest. I don't know if we have much of a story for people, but and we've kept it pretty tight to the chest, which is also why we're still together. So I don't think I would want to air our dirty laundry in a Broadway musical.
Would you wanna produce a musical? Maybe not about your life, but, like, if you got that project, that opportunity?
Yeah, I've tried before. I've had ideas, but nothing's been completed ever. So
Oh, well, we'll put that out to the universe to see if it happens. And we all know where the name Toilet Wet Sprocket comes from. It's a Mighty Python skit. And there was another band that they had to create their name out of a whim because they got booked. They didn't have a name. It's Orchestra Maneuvers in the Dark.
oh, OMD.
Yes.
Okay,
Yep.
there you
And they
go.
did not like their name too. They're like, oh, we're just gonna use this one night only, and it forever stuck.
Yeah. Well, at least they had a good. We're like TTWS doesn't roll off the tongue as well as OMD does.
Well, I just saw them. They're on tour. You guys are on tour with us. Sixpence of the Richer, they're coming to the UC Theater in
Hmm.
Berkeley Saturday, July 19th. I've also seen before that you toured with Vertical Horizon. I've always wanted to see them, so
They're great.
need to
Matt's
tell
the
them,
best.
come to the Bay Area.
I will let him know.
So, have you ever played at the UC Theater before?
Not the UC Theater, no.
Okay. It's a beautiful venue. You're gonna like it. Especially the audience because there's 3 levels, and each level there's a bar. The first level is more of a pit area, and then the other levels you could like sit down if you don't want to stand. And then there's like a very intimate balcony. And what I like about the balcony, you could oversee everything where you do not appear super far. Because I hate where you look blurry, like
Yeah,
and beautiful chandeliers. Right next door to the venue is a delicious, Salvadoran restaurant, so if you have time, you should check it out.
excellent.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I Berkeley is food heaven. My brother moved, he went to college. He and my parents all went to Berkeley, and I'm the only non-Cal graduate in the family. He lived in the Bay Area for, I think, 15 years. And when he came back to town, it took him about a decade to stop complaining about the food here. Just so it'll be good.
When you're on tour, what food, like, appeals to you? Like, what do you usually crave? What do you usually have when you're on the road?
The problem is I like really spicy food, and so my personal tastes and my voice maintenance don't really get. I've taken it much easier. So unfortunately, there's that. But I like figuring out like what's unique to an area or what's really well represented in an area. Like there's one place in Santa Barbara that does Ethiopian foods only on weekends. And so I love Ethiopian food. I love Ethiopian breakfast. I love like we're getting to play in Honolulu later this year. And I know I can get a great Japanese breakfast. I can get that in Brooklyn and I can get that in Honolulu. I love Indian food, especially when you head out. Like Berkeley's great for like chaat. And if you head out East Coast, New Jersey has a huge Indian population. You can get fantastic Indian food. So it's like more finding out both what's regional and what's international that's just has the population to support the real thing. So that's kind of where I sit with food, but I also want to try, whatever the weird regional stuff is. So, all just depends.
Sounds like you're still familiar because you often tour. Like, do you keep a list or you go on your run like, "Huh, let me try that restaurant?"
I should keep a list. I mostly like look at Google and see what's good and what looks interesting and what I can walk or bike to. So I have my little foldy bike so I can take that out and go places. There's also just what there's time for, but there's often not time to find something great. But
Mhm.
I like a good local coffee shop. I like, and you just learn the town. I love like going to Portland. They have all these lots where it's just food trucks and you just get to wander the food trucks. And there's one called, it's not my favorite food, but it's, called fried egg I'm in love. And
I love it.
you gotta eat it, fried egg I'm in love.
Yeah.
Just how could you not?
Robert Smith's face better be on. I'm just kidding. He probably wanted copyrighted that.
Yeah.
I saw this on your social media. It about being inducted to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Would you want that? Would you want to see Toe to be inducted?
Hell yeah. I mean, who would not? I don't know if it'll ever happen, but I certainly wouldn't complain if it did.
Awesome. I spoke to Paul Humphreys of OMD, and I asked him about that because he's been nominated for well, the band's been nominated for a Grammy. They didn't win. And I'm like, well, would you want to be inducted to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? They're like, no, like it's just an ego thing. I was like, why would you not want that?
It's not just an ego thing, though. I mean, it's also just good business. That's all. Same as a Grammy. It's like we've never been nominated on anything. It'd be great to get a Grammy because your touring goes up. It's like, it's very simple. It's a good thing. So less of an ego thing and more just a longevity thing, you know?
Yeah. You know who else? I just had to look it up. Who else hasn't been inducted? You mentioned them earlier of your list of bands. They're a
Uh,
duo.
they're a duo. Wait, Simon and Garfunkel?
No, actually, that's another good one, but no.
No.
They might have been inducted. It was another duo you mentioned in the
Tears for
'80s.
Fears?
Yes, they have not been inducted.
Really?
Mhm.
That's insane.
I know,
That's
and you wanted to
just
be the 3rd
stupid.
member of the band.
They're a great band.
They still are. I think they're doing a Vegas residency. I've seen them twice.
I haven't seen them live yet, but I've heard it's just stunning.
You need to go.
I
You need
know.
to
I
have
need to see more
FOMO,
shows.
like
I get home, I kind of get in my little nest and do my thing and see my friends. And I don't go out a lot because number one, I wake up at 5. So when I get home, I just go to bed early. And there's an element of going to shows, like once I'm there, I'm totally into it and I just want to listen and I have a great time. But it's the going to a venue and the parking and like I'm not doing great at selling our shows, but it's like just feel it's like going to work. I don't want to go to work. I'm home. So if that makes sense.
yeah,
It's
I
the
I can
dealing with all the
understand that.
stuff, but I want to hear the music.
What's your favorite Tears for Fears song?
What would my favorite Tears for Fears song be? I mean, there are things about them I love just for the production. Like Woman in Chains is a flawed song, but it's one of the most beautiful sounding recordings ever. I was a big Songs for the Big Chair guy. I mean, I loved The Working Hour. Also, memories fade, but the scars still linger. Like, I love how depressing their first record is. It's just
Mhm.
so dark top to bottom. It's
Like,
like Black Celebration, It
oh my
just
gosh, I
it's
love that song.
relentless sadness.
There's this DJ, she inspired me, to create my own funeral playlist. I'm like, I'm definitely adding Black Celebration.
Yeah. A good one for that is the Avett Brothers have a song called No Hard Feelings. Best funeral song ever written. It's perfect. I've sung it at 2 funerals. It's the best.
Well, I hope in the future we get to see maybe a Toto at Sprocket and a Tears for Fears tour before
Man,
they retire.
if they would have us, that would be absolutely fantastic. That would be a dream. I'd get to see them every night.
Yes, exactly. Like, and then
I'd
get
already
back.
be at work. Why not see a concert?
So this was a tweet or X post from last year on the Toads account. Music is a great form of time travel. It takes you back. Obviously, Toads music has been a soundtrack to the 90s. Your songs were heard on So I Married an Axe Murderer, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Empire Records, Fear, no pun intended to your album. What do you think is the most underrated Toad song?
Underrated. I don't know. I think I had hoped on the Coil album that Dam Would Break would be a single, and they pulled the plug on that record before we could put that song out. I mean, we definitely play all the singles, but our audience is pretty album oriented. And so I don't feel like there's been a lot of lost songs, if that makes sense. So I don't know, underrated. I'd say probably anything off the last 2 records we did, which, we kind of put out after we were on a major label. I think
Mhm.
there's some great songs on those records that I wish more people had been able to hear. So California Wasted off of New Constellation, and the other one would be Transient Whales off of Starting Now. I think those are great songs.
I interviewed a band called New Constellations, and I was like, just for the fun of it, I was like, "Did you name your band after the What Sprockets album, New Constellation?" They're like, "No."
No. It's all right.
But they should listen to it. I think these songs, I hope you get to add them to the set list for Berkeley. Pray Your Gods, Stories I Tell, Crowing, Windmills, Little Buddha, Life is Beautiful, The Eye. Any of those songs?
Crowing and Windmills, I think, are definitely in the set. I'm pretty sure both of those are in the set this year. The others, you'll just have to wait. We brought out Pray Your Gods a couple years ago. That was a fun one to bring back.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I was like, "Oh my gosh, the feels." So what's the most challenging or difficult, creating a set list for a concert or a track list for an album?
They're both hard. I mean, the good thing about a set list is if it doesn't work, you just change it the next night. So I would say the album, just because then it's the album. And, you're trying to figure out the dips and valleys and how you want to serve people with that. Album order is probably more difficult.
Absolutely. If it's a conceptual album, you wanna have, like, a beginning, middle, and end properly, but everyone's different. They may wanna start off with, like, the hooky stuff and then kinda slow it down and pick it, have a strong finish at the end.
I
So
mean, these days you don't hide your best track as the last track. It's got to be the first
yeah.
track because nobody listens to an album through anymore.
I know, that's why
Um,
everyone's going to EPs.
Yeah, it's a safe bet. I mean, I will say back to your question though, what is difficult about set lists, because we use a ton of capos, and so for live sets, the difficulty is all technical. It's all about getting the guitar changes working and making sure there's kind of a minimum of trouble around that. So.
I saw this, it was a post back in April that you were trying to get booked for a house show. Would you do more of those?
Oh yeah, I've done a series of concerts. So do you know Casey Turner at all?
This sounds familiar.
He does. He's a promoter. He used to do house shows, and now he mostly books Hot Monk, Novato. He puts on a lot of shows there. He has a summer cookout series that's really awesome that we've played the last many times we've come through the Bay Area. We go out together and do a series. We're going to be doing it next year, all in the Bay Area, and we just play house shows. He started doing it during lockdown. He was out of a job, and all the musicians he knew were out of a job, and so he had this idea that we could set up a system on somebody's lawn or driveway. And, it was 20 people, it was distanced, we were being safe for COVID, but you could have a concert at your house during COVID. And we went out, we did 12 shows in 4 days. So I was doing 3 shows a day, driving to people's house, setting everything up, playing for an hour and a half, taking it down and doing it again. Then we just kind of kept doing them. But, at some point without the distancing, and now we can play in the house if you want instead of outside. And we've been to some of these places 5 times now, where every year they have us back. And it's a really fun, intimate little tour we get to do. And we get to hang out in the car and get ridiculous. And yeah,
That sounds
it's a
so
good
fun.
time.
All I heard was you guys were coming back next year in the Bay Area. So
Yes.
excellent. I was like, "Hey, welcome to my one-bedroom apartment."
Well, we'll fill it with music if you want.
You met Willie Nelson before?
Yes, we met him pretty briefly. Our manager is good friends with him, Annie, and she took us in. It was kind of a hilarious night. I was at South by Southwest, and I was in a car with Titer. There were like four singer-songwriters in a car, and she did the most insane Jedi mind trick. It was this outdoor venue in Texas, and she drove through 3 layers of security, and she'd roll the window down and they'd go, "Do you have a pass?" And she'd say, "No, but I'm a friend of Willie's." And they're like, "Okay." And they just let her through. We parked on the side of the stage, got to watch the show from the side of the stage, and then got to meet him on the bus afterwards. He was very friendly, and he brought out the willy weed, and I'm not really a smoker, and I took one hit of that, and I've never been more stoned in my entire life than I was from one hit of Willie's weed. So it was a memorable night.
I heard an interview of Snoop Dogg, and him and Willie smoked weed.
It's what they do. I think he knows. I realize it's a thing because he will roll a joint and he'll take one tiny hit of it and then he pass it around so that everybody goes, "I shared a joint with Willie Nelson." And he knows that this is the gift. And he also knows there's like 20 people and his guy is just rolling the joints and laying them out. And like he knows that like all night long, Willie's going to have to take a hit and pass it around.
Oh my god. Literally past
Just,
the doobie on the left-hand side.
yeah.
It's insane because he has, like, hundreds of albums, and I think the next person that's gonna try to top that is Taylor Swift.
Good luck getting there, but she might just do it.
Yeah,
She
um,
started young enough.
absolutely. So, the tour that you're going on right now and the money you're gonna make, because I know it's so costly, is this gonna help fund for, like, the next tour or possibly the next album?
I'm sure some of it'll go into the next album. We actually just completed it's kind of an acoustic studio record, so it's not totally down home. It's like pretty layered, but we just got to go through the whole catalog from the first record to the last record and kind of represent all of them. I think it's like 16 songs, 18 songs. It's a lot of songs. So we're going to be putting that out at the end of the year, very slowly writing for a new studio record. And yeah, just moving along. I mean, mostly the tour money is how we get, how I pay rent and food. So the rent and food part is first.
Yeah. Priorities. You're doing a live stream?
Yeah, I'm going to be doing a live stream on Volume, and that's going to start out being multicast on Toad Socials and my social. Free live stream, just like an hour or so home concert with this exact same view and probably a little more light. But yeah,
Alright,
it'll be fun.
awesome. I have behind me like this portrait that says music heals the soul. You've had some ups and downs with, music, but do you still find it to be healing?
Yeah, I mean, music, I've struggled a lot with depression, and I don't know how I would have survived without music. I mean, people say music saved their life, but it's true. Getting to write songs, to work through stuff, getting to play music with people, getting to play music for people. It's the best. Getting to sing is just that in itself is like the greatest antidepressant, So
It's probably a better high than Willie's weed.
it's more subtle, but I feel better the next day.
Excellent. So we are winding down with our time, and I've heard people ask you like, what advice would you give to like future bands? I'm going to ask you, what advice did you wish you were given when you were starting out to the What Sprocket?
Just to always be more grateful. Try to look towards a more distant future than I can imagine. I think gratitude, entitlement. It's the first band I was ever in. We did well. I just kind of thought that's how life worked. And then I had my hard knocks after the band broke up. And so, couldn't get a record deal, hadn't saved, hadn't invested. I just kind of thought it would keep rolling. And I got really embittered for a long time, which no one wants to see a bitter musician. And so I think that, like, just gratitude, the most important thing. If you get to play music, it's a good day. And if it does well, it's good and it will come in a wave and then it will go away and maybe you get another wave. Maybe not, but gratitude, top to bottom.
Right, persistence and networking as well. I saw this on your social media. You weren't physically like on the game show, like competing on Wheel of Fortune, but you were, I think, in the studio. So if you could come up with a puzzle, what would it be?
I don't know.
You're all like, I've been up since 5 in the morning.
You mean a word puzzle?
Yeah.
I mean, I would have given my left nut to have invented Wordle. I think it's just brilliant. Just brilliant.
Okay. Anything else you want to plug, Glenn, in regards to the upcoming tour, your socials?
Yeah, we got the summer tour coming up, toadthewetsprocket.com. I'm at glenphillips.com. Been touring a lot. There's 2 rooms left for a cruise from up the Danube, going from Budapest to Nuremberg, which is going to be a ton of fun, and more touring for me solo in the new year. And next summer, I mean, Toad goes out. That's the funny thing about this point in our career. It's like, it's just getting the people who are like, I love that band. Do you still play? It's like only every year. So come out and see it. It's a lot of fun.
All right. Glenn, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Be well.